Hello, welcome to this series of videos where I will document the journey of my investment portfolio. I will post weekly updates on the performance of my portfolio. This is mainly to force myself to stay disciplined to what I'm doing. Getting into my brokerage account, you can see that I use interactive brokers. I think they are the best option to choose in Europe. As you can see, my portfolio did really well for the last week. We gained 4.5% compared to S&P 500, which gained only about 1%. Since this is my first video, I want to do a little recap where I show you the year-to-date performance and the one-year performance. After that, I will show you what strategies I'm running in my account. Looking at the year-to-date performance, you can see that we are doing quite good with 22.8% return, while the SPX did return around 5.6%. Now let's check the one-year performance. You can see that I did amazing the last year. It shows here 113%, which is great, of course, but my result for 2025 was around 150% return. Unfortunately, Interactive Brokers doesn't allow to show this time period. Just to hint you that majority of my gains came from SPX Iron Condors. Now I will explain what strategies I'm running. As you can see in this little diagram, I have three strategies currently. First, the SPX Iron Condor 0DTE, second wheel strategy. Third, high dividend ETFs. Let's go over them one by one. First, SPX Iron Condor 0DTE. This is my main strategy, which generated the majority of my returns last year, and I'm still testing it. Since it did so good last year, I'm still not sure if I should trust that performance or not. That's why, after running it for another year, I will definitely have more confidence in that strategy. The income from this strategy, I try to put it into the third strategy, which I will mention later. Second, we have the wheel strategy, very famous among options traders. I'm running it on stocks that I don't mind owning, like Google, Rocket Lab, or Cameco. This is to generate an extra income from my margin. That income I then use to increase the long position in the above mentioned stock till I reach multiple of 100. This in order to sell covered calls in the future. Third, we have the high dividend ETFs. These are my long-term holding, which I want to increase as much as possible so I can generate a passive cash flow. My main criteria for selecting these ETFs is the NAV erosion. Neo's company does a good job with these covered call ETFs. Now let's have a quick look on my current positions. Currently, I have 100 shares of Google, even though they will probably be called away due to my covered call, which I sold at the strike of 360. Then, as I mentioned, I have been slowly accumulating Rocket Lab and Cameco. Then I have also my 4 high dividend ETFs, which are generating about $275 a month with an aggregated yield of 9% net. Now, let's start with the last week. Last week, I made $954 on options. This was a normal week with my Iron Condor on SPX printed perfectly and also closed a short put on MSFT. Stay around. I'm going to walk you through every trade and then show the full weekly performance breakdown in my analyzer tool. Let's quickly check what the market did last week. The S&P 500 closed roughly 1% this week in the green. What drove the market mostly was the earnings season, especially with big tech like Google, which crushed it, so the sentiment is positive. Now let's move to my analyzer tool to see in more details all my trades for last week. As you can see in my trading overview, we realized a profit of $954 last week, which is a gain of 1.5% on my account. We have a net profit of $902 and we paid $51 in commissions. Looking now at the portfolio summary, we see details for each trade, starting with the biggest win, which was the SPX Iron Condor, on which I gained about $550. Second trade was the closure of a short put on Microsoft. That was a monthly cash secured put, which I closed early for about $450. Lastly, there was a small loss on, again, a cash secured put on Meta. I immediately changed my mind about this trade, so I closed it at the same day for a small loss. I'm not very confident on Meta as a company. In the last section of the analyzer tool, you can see even more detail for each ticker. And if you click on one ticker, it will show all the trades that you did on that. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. I post every week with a new recap. Link to the analyzer is in the description and pinned in the comments. All right, see you in the next one.